Hello, Pisces, sun, moon, but especially rising sign of the month of June is going to bring you some interesting developments when it comes to your home life, as well as anything to do with a potential work or job opportunity and travel. You also may be experiencing some interesting developments regarding your siblings. Let's talk about all of the details around this month ahead for you. Before we begin, if you're new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothy and I'm a whole sign house astrologer using the Western Tropical Zodiac. I love asteroids, and if you stick around, hit the like button and subscribe, you're going to find out a lot about the minor asteroids in the sky as we go through the month ahead in any of the 20 to 30 videos I put out each month. In this month's video, we're not going to talk at all about the sun and moon, new moon and full moons of the month, because I do separate long videos on that. So you might want to definitely subscribe to get those individual videos each month. So first of all, and check my description box. I teach classes. I have my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter. And everything I do here on YouTube is received by my Patreon community, early access, advanced copies of it, basically ad-free. And if you like ad-free content and you're tired of these ads, you might want to check out my $5 a month Patreon community. For that tier, you'll also get to do a VIP room, or not a VIP room, a monthly Patreon meeting room with me every month on Zoom. All right, let's get going and talk about the sky. Number one, the first thing I want to say is this. You know what? You guys have a lot going on this month. It's definitely an important time with so much action happening, with Venus moving into your fifth house for the first time for 4 months in your lifetime, I'm sure of it. Because Venus does move through your sixth house of debt, work, and health, and pets and tenancies. She does that movement and dating through that sixth house, like 3 or 4 weeks every year. Not this time around. Starting on June the 5th, she enters into your sixth house, and she doesn't take a hiatus out of there until when? October the 9th. And we'll have a longer video on that to cover some of the more important aspects this month, but of that transit. But the gist of it is, starting on June the 5th, you're going to start to feel some positive things happen here. You could get a debt repayment from someone who owed you money. You could pay off a debt that you've always wanted to pay down. You could get a real experience of a glow up in your health by doing enjoyable things, particularly movement that you really like, and going, wow, I really like this movement style. I'm enjoying getting really healthy. Part of the issue here, and also you may also, have some really beautiful opportunities and positive developments around pets or abilities to secure a rental property or to rent a property out. Now, the thing here is that Mars gets there before her. He arrives in this part of your sky on May the 20th, and he's all by himself with no help until she arrives on June 5th. This can mean that breaking a lease, ending a lease, an injury with a pet. It can mean, some kind of gnarly intensity around debts and money owed, or even working really hard, or really being driven in your work if you have something you do in the work world. And then along comes Venus and softens everything up on the 5th, and everything kind of has a new glow around it. And Mars is no longer so darn difficult if he ever was. Watch for inflammation though, like rashes, heat, inflammatory health challenges, or anything like that, injuries as well, especially the 20th of May until the 5th of June. Then Venus comes in and soothes him and cools it all down, and things should get a lot less intense, especially with inflammatory health challenges. Now, the thing is that Venus, while she's here, right, she has a lot of power, but she's also particularly useful to you when it comes to your body, because she's the exaltation lord of your physical body, or your ascendant, which is about your body as well as your sense of personality and self. So as the exaltation lord spending 4 months in the house of sickness, it's going to indicate a likely positive time for better health that's starting on June the 5th and doesn't end until October. And because Mars is there, he likes to work out, he likes to move his body, he likes to exercise. Some of you are finding some new exercise. Certainly in Leo, it's kind of got the muscle man vibe, but it can also just mean like being very physically active to stay healthy. And this action plan starts sometime when Venus gets there to make it more fun and tolerable, or you feel like this is something you actually want to do. And then you may do some of it from home, by the way, but you can go join a gym as well. All right, so then Mercury, we're talking big picture, then we're going to narrow down to certain dates in June for certain events. Mercury, the god of marketing and merchandising, selling, legal contracts, negotiation, emails, phone calls, speeches, he's going to move into his home sign of Gemini. He'll be there from June the 11th to June the 27th. 11th to the 27th, this is very good for securing an agreement, a contract, or a negotiation regarding property, home, land, selling, buying, renting, especially because Venus is in the house of rentals. This could be a window of time, therefore, June 11th to the 27th, knowing that Venus has already now entered into your sixth house, where there's going to be negotiations or contracts drawn up about a rental, especially because to rent a property out or to be the tenant, because Mercury also owns your seventh house of legal agreements. Mars is definitely also saying you will like passionately negotiate, to get a deal that you really want. Mercury here can mean there's a lot of phone calls, emails, and conversations, communications, writing or communicating from your home base during that window of time. And the sun will be there with Mercury until June the 21st. So it's a lot of energy looking at communicating in and from the home or about the home in some regard. Now, during this month of June as well, a couple of other things are happening. One is that Pluto is slipping back into Capricorn. And he's going to change that sign out of your Aquarian 12th house, which is quite subtle and maybe more of an enlightenment transit, than anything. And Pluto backs up into your 11th house of great gains from your career, friends who are allies and benefactors, your wishes and dreams, and even just some kind of money luck that looks like a windfall. And this backing end is very much the 29th degree. Eventually he goes to 27 and turns around October 11th. And then by next January, comes back into Aquarius. But it's this first ingress backwards, right? Where he may, let's say, when he backs in there on June the 11th, add to the rest of the month, but really till next January. But June the 11th, some former opportunity, this lucrative financially, can come to you for some career money gain, basically. And you may also have an elder sibling involved in this, because this is the house of elder siblings, or somebody from your past and your work structures, especially if they're an ally or a benefactor. They favor you, they have a special soft spot for you. And this is a powerful or wealthy person that may be getting in touch with you, especially given that Mercury is in the fourth house. And, there's a strong possibility that Mercury news and messages received in and from your house may be involved in what Pluto's up to as well. Now, Saturn's in the house of you, and this started to happen in the beginning of March on the 7th, and he doesn't leave in the house of your body, your identity, yourself in Pisces. He doesn't leave at all until like February of 2026, and this is going to be a very important time for you. It can make you more feel old, feel like more sober-minded and realistic about your life, but also more gravitas, more weight, more wanting to be the author of your life, the expert authority even of your own life. And sometimes it can be hard on your health. You need to take care of your health. Saturn here will give you what you need to do it, but he will also make you aware of any challenges to your mortality. And he's not a death transit by any means, but it can create health challenges that are here to give you a stronger physical foundation over the 30 years that follow this transit. Now, he retrogrades at the 7th degree of the sign of Cancer. That means that the first 10 degree Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Cancer is 10 degrees, Pisces, 10 degrees, Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising are going to get the most juice from this. Okay. This is like, the middle degrees get the next year 25 and 24, and the later degrees gets 25, but all Pisces feel it. So Saturn will retrograde on June the 17th at 7 degrees of Pisces. He's going to start heading backwards, and for a few months he'll retrograde through the house of you. What is going on here? What is it that you are needing to tend to that's from your past, and you need to go back over some old ground and revise, redo, or renew something from the past? Now, the retrograde can mean also a lightening up of the discipline and seriousness and the sort of stern, stoic, cold energy of Saturn. Now he's going retrograde. He's kind of less so, he's kind of like not really himself. And so you might feel a little bit lighter. You might feel that things are lightening up. You feel better then maybe June 17th as he goes retrograde in the house of your identity, and maybe less hard on yourself in some way. But on the other hand, you might go back and look at some things from your past that you need to account for, especially as it may be about things to do with your gains in your career, your success in your career, your long range plans and goals and things like that could be really under renovation during June 17th onward. Now we're going to go through the month in detail, and we're going to start off by the beginning of the month and talk about a lovely transit of Venus trining Neptune. Neptune is about dreamy and imaginative and creative stuff, and Venus is love, art, and beauty, and it's all very lovely, and she brings good money outcomes as well as love. It's very soulmatey. Venus is going to be in Cancer. She hasn't yet to move into Leo, your sixth house, so she's in your romance house. Now, she will have been there for a few weeks already, but by the time we get to June 2nd and 3rd, knowing that she leaves on June 5th, she's coming into the home stretch of 26 degrees of Cancer. This is going to open up and glow up your romantic and love life. If you are a Cancer sun, moon, and especially Cancer, if you are a Pisces sun, moon, and rising, especially anywhere from 25 to 29 degrees, or let's say 23 to 29 degrees of Pisces, you are going to get something really lovely here. A dreamy leisure trip, maybe with a romantic partner, an amazing feeling of the sexual, romantic, and deep, true love connection really glowing up, especially unconditional love, enchantment, dreamy love, sacred love, all of that. And this is very powerful for you anytime around this transit, which is June did I say when? June the 2nd and June the 3rd. And then we move into the 3rd and the 4th of June, in which there is a Mercury conjunct Uranus in the 3rd house of siblings, travel, and the online world. Now, because it can be so many things, I would say that it's unexpected, surprising news, emails or phone calls about trips, travel, siblings, and online world stuff, social media platforms, and all of that coming through your sky around the 3rd and the 4th of the month. And this is in a sextile relationship to your house of identity, so it's not that bad, all said and done. And you may just find it pleasing, surprising news in any of those areas. Then Venus will oppose Pluto as she's at 0 Leo in your 6th house on the 5th and 6th of June, and Pluto is still sitting in 0 degrees of Aquarius. This could definitely be a very difficult time, but it may be very subtle. Pluto in the 12th house could be a powerful, wealthy person in a foreign country, for example, opposing something you wish to do in your work or health or tendencies area or debt area of your chart. And this is going to be the 5th and the 6th of the month. And Venus is like wanting to find pleasure around health, pleasure around work and work routines. And then also this brooding Pluto, foreign lands, foreign shores, 12th house thing happens. On a subtle note, it could be some kind of powerful, deep, transformative insight, dream at night, or whatever around things to do with money and love, and profound transformation around those themes coming through the 5th and 6th of the month. Then on June the 9th, the 12th, there's going to be a Venus squaring Jupiter. 2 benefics squaring off is going to still be positive. And it's at 5 degrees of Leo and 5 degrees of Taurus. Now, Taurus is your trips and travel and siblings and aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews, the skills-based learning and education, writing, communicating in the online world. Venus is here. Jupiter is here. He's been here since May 16th. He'll be here till May of 2024. And he's bringing a lot of intensity. And he's just come off of that Rahu North Node energy. And so by the time we get to the 9th and the 12th, he's been really hyper-stimulated, overinflated even. And it may be Venus in the house of health and health protocols and work routines is either bringing a work-related travel opportunity, or she's particularly not interested, and there's a tussle around whether this opportunity regarding travel or things going in the online world is something you really are interested in. Later on the 11th of the month, there's a one-day sweet spot in the sky. And that one-day sweet spot has to do with a very wealthy-oriented energy of the god of merchandise and marketing and commerce, Mercury in Gemini, his home sign. He's dignified, flowing in a trine to Pluto at 0 Aquarius. On the 11th, it's fleeting because it's like Pluto's going to back out of Aquarius right the same day. So just around the 11th, there's this touch point. And it's very lovely, and it could be an opportunity regarding property, legacy wealth, real estate, foreign lands, foreign shores, and it involves the word wealth. Okay, messages from someone from another homeland, your homeland changing, I don't know, negotiating a contract or a deal with someone from a foreign country, from your home base, things like that. It could involve real estate property deals as well. Then on June the 14th to the 24th, with an epicenter on the 19th, Jupiter will sextile Saturn. Jupiter is lucky breaks and opportunities regarding trips, travels, and siblings and all those third house things, but flows to Saturn for the first time in 30 years. And it is retrograde Saturn, but it's like, what kind of thing from your past have you got a handle on that's going to open up some opportunity that's positive that requires travel or siblings or communications in the online world, or if you're a writer, a writing project. You may launch a new website. You may go back and reestablish an old website. You may take a trip, and you may have been thinking about this for a while. And now that Saturn's retrograde, you're ready to go back over that plan and make it happen. You may also engage with a sibling as a result of this, including an elder sibling, because Saturn rules the house of elder siblings. And this is actually happening in the house of siblings in general. Any communication from a sibling during this transit, though, will be opportune and maybe even fortunate for you in a lot of ways that you will really appreciate, basically. Then, I don't usually do the but I'm umming today. Mars is going to square Uranus. This is very intense, explosive energy, but it's got bonification. Mars is in Leo, but Venus is giving him a soft touch. And then, oh my God. And then, and then where was I? Uranus is in Taurus, the god of the unexpected shock and awe, change and developments, unexpected happenings, and he's being softened up by Jupiter. So I don't think it's all that bad, but normally otherwise it could be. And so what kind of unexpected, on the 25th to the 29th of June, the end of the month, what kind of unexpected energy, unplanned, unexpected trips and travel, sibling and relationship and things, online world, skills-based education, and all of that could be having a bit of a blow-up energy, a square to Mars in the house of work and work-related things, job, colleagues, co-workers, debt, pets, and tendencies. This is going to be a bit of a jolt, but again, it's softer than it could be and should be because of Venus and Jupiter kind of giving some overall softening of the intensity. You could have a fight with a colleague, a coworker. You could have a blowout with a sibling. You could have a challenge with something to do with a pet, and somehow it impacts things to do with your local neighborhood, because neighbors and neighborhood are also third house. You could have a blowout with your neighbor about something that you're doing that they don't appreciate with your pet. Get your pet off of my lawn, the 25th to the 29th of the month. Then we're going to end strong. That's the good news. I love this. So the sun will come into, with the sun and Mercury are together in the sky in Cancer on the 27th to the end of June. And they're holding fort and holding hands together, basically. And they're going to even kazemi. And they together are flowing towards a trine, it's called, a flowing energy of that sun and Mercury. And who are they flowing to from Cancer? They're flowing to Saturn in the house of you, retrograde in Pisces. This is going to happen around 9 degrees of Pisces, 9 degrees of your 5th house. So some thoughts here. Some prosperous news coming through the house of money, luck, and wins that benefits you greatly, especially first 10 degrees, but no, I think all Pisces will feel it. First 10 degrees, sun, moon, and rising. You may find that something is going on with one of your children and it's quite positive, and you may find that something's going on in a sexual romantic relationship and it's very lovely. The last part of the month is bringing flow from your independent business and entrepreneurial house, as well as your creativity. If you're an artist, a creator of any kind, you may have a download on the last day of June and the first day of July, as there's the kazemi in the house of creativity, the muse, etc. And you could have some important news coming through this part of your sky that's positive from your child or children. And so this is a very sweet end of the month. And you have Saturn, you are Saturn. You may work hard on a creative project. You may work hard on a business project. You may work really hard on a communications and business and creative project. but it's all flowing on the 27th of the month to the very end of the month. Okay, so get ready to experience a pretty good month of June if you are a Pisces rising, sun and moon. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Check my description box below for my classes, for my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter, for my Patreon community access point. All of that is in the more section below this video. Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a wonderful June 2023.